What's going on, y'all? This is Isaiah Fowler, founder of SWAV Eyewear and SWAV Agency. And this is the Starts with a Vision podcast reloaded. And this podcast, this platform is the #1 platform that helps people with their direct to consumer brands, right? We created this podcast so that we could help people who have direct to consumer brands grow, right? Because I realized in my journey, I was like, damn, I was never able to go on YouTube and find a platform that gave information like this, right? It was always just e-commerce, but it was never building a real company direct to consumer, right? So that's what this platform is about. So I appreciate you if you're here. If you're tuning in, definitely keep tapping in with us and subscribe to the YouTube and on the audio platforms. Much appreciated, right? So today, I want to talk about building out your team for your direct-to-consumer brand, right? So you have to think of your brand as a conglomerate today. Think about your brand as a conglomerate today, okay? So when we think about it like that, you have to ask yourself, okay, what will I need? But you'll only know what you need once you understand and realize where you want to go and what the vision is. And of course, that's why I always say everything starts with a vision, right? Because if you have no vision, you're not going to know what you need. Once you have the vision, then you're going to know what you need. So think about it as a conglomerate, right? So we got up top. So you got the top, and then we're going to start coming down. So the top is your brand. And then we start, dropping it down, and we're going to start breaking it up into departments and stuff like that. But one thing I've seen and learned is I see where people, where they get kind of like confused or lost or whatever, right? So you're at $0, you just started, and then you're trying to get to $1 million. Some people are at 200 trying to get to 800,000. We're all at different levels in our lives and in our businesses, right? But there are some key pieces to your whole team that you are going to need to be successful and to be sustainable and viable and profitable, all right? So one of the #1 things that I always recommend people first, get you an accountant, okay? Get you an accountant, a CPA, certified public accountant, because I've worked with clients that were doing $20,000 a year. Now we're doing, $200,000 a year that didn't have accountants. But the thing about it is, the further you want to take your company, the cleaner your books are going to have to be and your balance sheets and everything. So if you can get in the habit of that right now, it will make your life so much easier. When I first started SWAV Eyewear, I knew I wasn't ready for an accountant, but I already had one in mind because I knew that was something that would, I would be able to take it off my plate. Because every month you have to, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Write down and classify and put your expenses in categories. You don't have time to be doing that as the founder of the company, as the CEO, because you're trying to grow the business. If you're trying to grow the business, you don't have time to be going into QuickBooks and trying to categorize it. So #1, you need an accountant. So that's like a non-negotiable. Get you an accountant. And you got to think about it as that's your money team. Your accountant is like your financial strategist for your business. right? You gotta get an accountant. So get you a good one, okay? And then, and this is a foundational thing. I don't care what revenue you're at. The earlier you get an accountant, the easier your life is gonna be, filing taxes is gonna be, all of that stuff, right? I know everybody wants to content and make this money, but you gotta lay the foundation. And that's what I really be always preaching, is like the foundational things are what really is going to get you the real money. And it's going to allow you to keep it. Because if you hire an accountant when you already doing $500,000, they're going to have to go back in your books and it's going to be a nightmare, right? What if you have somebody who wants to invest and you're doing $300,000? Okay, they're going to ask, what does your books look like? If you don't have an accountant that's had the books clean, then your valuation ain't going to be as high, or a lot of other things, right? What if you want to do a really big crowdfunding campaign on a certain platform? They're going to ask you for your financials. If you don't have an accountant, then you're going to be shit out of luck. So this is why it's so important. Don't think just because I'm only doing $30,000 a year, I don't need a CPA. No, you do need a CPA. Right now, the earlier you get that, the better. Right? The further you want to go, the more strategical you're going to have to get right now. Right? So make sure you map that out and you get that. That's one of the first things that I think. It's not a sexy hire. You know, it's not a sexy move, but you'll feel much lighter and you'll feel happier that you did it. I can't harp enough on a CPA. So now, right, you got that. You're going to need your legal team, you know, and it's going to be a couple different attorneys. Of course, you're going to need somebody to help you protect your brand. So trademark attorney, and then a tax attorney. But that's going to be as you like start, you know, getting more like higher in revenue. But these are just things to think about, right? And then just like a business attorney. So like business contracts, like a contracts attorney. Because what if you're doing a partnership or, you know, whatever the case may be, you want to have an attorney that can draft your contracts up so that way you're not just pulling templates off the internet and you're just protected. That's the biggest thing. You want to be protected and you want to be doing business the right way. If you're really trying to grow this thing to a multi-million-dollar business and get it to the point where it's doing 10 million, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to, you know, have those things. So you got your CPA, you got your legal team, you know what I mean, in place. And these are people that essentially you're going to be contracting out. A CPA is going to be a CPA until you get to a point where you're going to need a CFO, right? Chief Financial Officer. So then, right, those things are good. They're going to protect you. And now we start going inside of your business, right? Now, depending on what level you're at, you're going to most likely be, hiring people as a freelancer or a contractor. But the higher you go in revenue, you're going to start bringing those things in-house most likely. So let's say you're going to need a marketing department. But if we break that down, you're going to need a content creator. And if we break that down, photographer/videographer, right? Super important. Because if you want to really go direct to consumer, the fuel to the fire for any direct to consumer brand on the planet is content, right? Let's just make this shit simple. The key is content. If the key is content, you need somebody that could come in and make content consistently for the brand because you have an aesthetic, you have a story that you're trying to tell and get out there consistently. So you're going to need a photographer and videographer/videographer. Do you want to, and then you're going to ask yourself, do I want to be video heavy or photo heavy in the beginning? You're probably going to have to choose one because you go want a specialist. A videographer can take photos, but that's probably not their specialty. A photographer can probably do some videos, but that's probably not their specialty. So you're going to ask yourself, which one do I want to be heavy on from a social channel and from a marketing perspective? Do I want to have a lot of photos or do I want to do a lot of video? I like video. So I decided to go the video route with my brand, right? So I have a videographer that I work with, at least once a week or two. Well, either once every other week or once a week is when I'm working with my videographer, right? So then he gives me the content, and then I distribute that content out where it needs to go, right? So you got to think about it. Content is key. Don't ever allow anybody to make you feel like content is not key. Content is everything. Photos, videos, graphics, all of that stuff. You're going to need a graphic designer, because when you get certain photos, you're going to need somebody to make the graphics, right? And you can make this fit in your business however you want. If you're good at graphics, then you can do the graphics right now until you are able to hire that and hire all these other people as well, right? You can use Canva and stuff like that, but it gets to the point sometimes where you don't want your brand looking like everybody else's, because everybody uses Canva and it's all a template. So, you're gonna want to differentiate yourself and your aesthetic, over time. So those are some things to think about. But this could fit however you want. So you're gonna need a graphic designer. As long as make sure the video videographer is able to get you the video, the finished product, and is, edited really good. The next thing you're gonna need is somebody that is able to work on your website, right? Whenever you need it. Whether it be certain updates or whatever. So you're gonna need a web designer, developer, whatever, right? And you can get this off Upwork or somebody however you want to get it. I'm just letting you know what you need. So then you're also going to need CPA, legal team, videographer, content curation, and then you're going to need copywriter/emails. And this is all under the marketing. But emails are going to be everything. And this is why it takes time to build businesses, because you have all these different, moving pieces. But I'm breaking it down for you so you can kind of just see it all. So then you're going to have emails. So emails is /copy. Copywriting is the written of the brand. It helps, it helps with the brand tone and everything like that. It's all the written words from the brand. But you're going to need to have somebody that handles all your emails, right? You can outsource this or you can hire this internally. And then you're also going to need ads, right? Ads person. Are you going to hire this in-house? Are you going to do them? Or are you going to hire an agency to run the ads, right? These are the decisions that you're going to have to make. But ads are going to be a whole nother, I did an episode, last week about when should you hire an ads agency, or a couple weeks ago, right? When should you hire an ads agency and what to think about? Go watch that video. So these are things to think about with your direct to consumer brand. You're also going to need a strategist. That's why I'm a strategist, right? Because you're going to need somebody that can help you see the long-term vision, right? Everything that I named is kind of like skill sets. You're going to need a right hand, right? If it is your wife or your husband or you have a partner, that's cool. But because you guys are inside of the business, you are not going to be able to see what somebody else with a skilled eye can see for your future and where you're going to go, right? So you're going to need somebody, a strategist, a consultant that can look at the business and see where it can go. So if you do want to hire me as your strategist, then definitely click the link below the video or go to the website, swavagency.com, SWAVAGENCY.com, and then we'll talk about that. But you're going to need that, right? And then you're going to need a way, and this isn't necessarily a function, but this is something you want to think about. getting some money for growth, right? Growth capital. So that's always going to be a conversation within the business, right? You're always going to need to be thinking about how can I get money so that the brand can grow, right? So those are, that's a simple way of breaking down everything you're going to need for your direct-to-consumer brand from a personnel, infrastructure perspective. You're also going to need a really good, now we're getting into the organization of it, but you're going to need an operations person, because if you are keeping your inventory and shipping out orders on yourself, then you're going to need a really good operations person, or you're going to have good operations on how everything is going, right, from a fulfillment perspective. Now, if you want, you can hire a 3PL, third-party logistics company. I used them when I first started SWAV Eyewear, but I shouldn't have gotten one because I was way too early in the game to do that. And so it wasn't a positive experience. But I'm all for in-house, so I don't even want to hire a third-party logistics company right now. Especially, I would rather control the process of what the customer gets. And then as we continue to grow, maybe we will, revisit that. But right now, I'm not doing third-party logistics. And then those are some of the main things that you're really going to need in order for your direct-to-consumer brand to be successful. Direct-to-consumer, right? This is not if you want to do wholesale, right? Because some people say, I don't need that. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person that really wants to really dive deep into direct-to-consumer and really increase their online sales, build a brand, build a better relationship with their customer base, and really build out that tribe for real. These are all the things that it's gonna take. These are all the moving pieces, right? And you gotta have this all systemized, and you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta have a vision, and you gotta have a strategy for it all to work together and come into silos, right? So that's today's episode, man. I wanna talk about how to build out your team for your direct-to-consumer brand. The content is really like super important. That's second to the accountant. You can get your trademark kind of when you need to. The earlier the better as well, but of course you always gonna have to think about your budget and finances and stuff like that. I got my trademark early on because I was selling cars, so I was taking the money that I was making from selling cars and investing into the brand. So those are things, man, that's perspective for you. I really hope that helped. If it did, let me know. Like this video, comment below the video, hit me up, let me know what you think. And always remember, every single thing you do in life, it starts with a vision. Peace.